sex.
You know, we've been waiting much too long for this girl. It's time to get it on.
Hello, ladies. How many people thought that this video was actually going to be about sex? It was actually something I was discussing with some friends of mine, and we were talking about on a lot of the social networking sites how people can kind of gravitate towards certain topics, and sex is like a real big thing. People are just naturally inquisitive about what you're talking about. So I just wanted to actually try it just to see how many people would actually view this video in regards to if I'm talking about sex. So I don't know yet, because I actually haven't posted it at this point, but it's going to be interesting to see how many viewers I will have in regards to this video as opposed to the other videos that I posted. But I'm sorry to anyone who actually clicked onto this video to actually think that it was going to be a topic about sex. But I am going to discuss sex at one point. I just haven't gotten there yet. But anyway, this video today is just random. It's just a random. I just got home from work, and I have been thinking about some things, and I wanted to throw it out there to the ladies. We were talking about at work. We have a lot of debates at work, so it's just always this, big discussion about different things. But we were talking about dating, with women asking men out. How many people out there feel it's okay for a woman to ask a man out, and how many people feel that it's kind of out of place for a woman to do that? How many people are old school that feels like a man's supposed to initiate everything? That's a big question mark in my head. There are certain things that I feel that belong to men. I feel that men should be gentlemen, and whenever you're, progressing to that stage of a relationship, I do like to see a man step up more. I think a man should kind of lead and let a woman know what his intentions are. I'm kind of like the old school where when the guys would go and ask your father, if he could date their daughter, or even take it a step further, when it came down to getting married, they would ask your dad if it was okay for them to marry. I think that's very beautiful. It's chivalrous, and you don't see that today. You don't see a lot of guys still doing the things like opening doors, or putting the umbrella over a woman if it's raining, or just different things like this. So everything is so geared toward, you do for me, I do for you. If you don't do for me, I don't do for you. And I mean, it's kind of hard to understand relationships today. So if you're kind of old school like me, and you see that, you're kind of like lost. A lot of younger people, they're okay with that. I see a lot of women taking the lead as far as picking up the guy and all of that. And I just still believe that a man should show a woman that he is a man, and not saying that picking up a woman in your car means that you're a man, but it just shows that you're a gentleman, and you have that utmost respect for that woman, and you want to treat her like the precious queen that she is. I still believe in all of that. I also believe that when you're a woman, when you start to date a guy, you're showing interest in him. I think a woman should still do some of the old school things that we did. I don't love to cook. Everybody that knows me, know I don't. But when I was married, I did cook. I didn't do it every night, but I did it most nights because I had children, and I knew they had to eat. So, of course, I did cook for them. But I also loved doing things for my husband as well. So I feel like that a woman should do things like that for her man. I don't feel like it's making her less than him if she takes that role on more so than he does. I have been lucky that guys that I date, a lot of them, they love to cook themselves. So, I be invited over and they're cooking for me. And I raised a son that also loves to cook, and he's awesome. So I don't have a problem with that, but I just feel like, we need to take it back and step into some of the roles. The woman is always the nurturer and the homemaker. And I love my independent sisters are out there, got their own careers, and running households and corporate businesses, CEOs of companies. That's all well and fine, but it's nothing like having a man in your life when you're dating or when you're married, that man makes you feel secure and safe when you're with him, and taking that lead in that role where you don't have to worry about a lot of things. That's beautiful. I don't care what a lot of people say, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, but it's beautiful to me to have that man that I can look up to and say, this is my man. He got me, and I'm right here with him, instead of you give me half and I'll give you half. But, that's today's society in this new 21st century. Everything is like that. But I truly believe if we took it back to the old school, the old way, the way we were brought up, I think you would see more 50 plus years of marriages and relationships around here. It's just because the demise of marriage is heartbreaking when you see marriages that last less than 30 days. That's a sad thing. You date longer than you're married. I've seen relationships where people dated for 2-3 years and decided to get married, and then the marriage lasts less than a year. What is that about? Because what was it about the 2 to 3 years living together or in this relationship that worked, and because you decided to make it legal, it didn't work? To me, I can't grasp that, because you're changing the piece of paper. That paper that you have between you is just stating that we're responsible for each other. But when so that's really the difference, especially for the couples that are actually living together. You've been paying your bills together, or making a home together, or whatever other things that you guys brought together, invested. You've been doing that already for the 2 or 3 years. So when you decide to get married and you sign on the dotted line and you give that woman your name, all of a sudden that causes chaos in the relationship where it doesn't work. I'm just confused on that. So anybody got any insight on that, please put it in the comment box below, because I'm curious to understand that. Me and my girlfriends, a lot of us are single. We're middle-aged women. We're single. We've been married. Some of us haven't been married at all. And I kind of take responsibility for my 2 marriages. I was married twice. Not working. The first one, not so much. The second one, I do. The first one, I was young. I was in love. I really didn't care a lot about the past of my spouse at that time. I just was a young girl, saw this very fine young man. He was interested in me. We dated. I thought the world revolved around him, and so I wanted to marry him, and I did. Marriage lasted for 10 years. But from day one, that relationship was just doomed for failure, because he was the most habitual liar. He was a big cheat, and he did that from almost the beginning. But being young, having children young, I had my first when I was 22. I know a lot of people have children younger than that. But being taken away, because he was in the military, being taken away, and from everything I knew, to live with him, to make a home with him, and to be brought into this alien place, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I kind of stuck it out for 10 years. But doing the second time, I really believe that marriage just was trying to fix things about my life, because I felt like I needed to do something for my children, to give them this structured home with the 2 parents. And the person that I was dating, he was my best friend. I have to be honest. He was my best friend. We had a great friendship. He was spiritual. We had the same beliefs. And I felt that would work. I thought that would work, not realizing that sometimes people bring stuff into relationships, and you can't work through those things, and it was a lot of things that I didn't know. And so got into that relationship, and then 3 years in, we had a separation. And then after that, we were able to bring it back together. And then 3 years later, the marriage ended. I couldn't do it, and I couldn't stay with somebody that just resided, I guess, in a home where it was not a marriage. It was just more of a roommate situation. And we got along. We didn't have any issues as far as arguing. I think it just became apparent that we married the wrong person, and so, but not saying that happens to everybody, but it's just interesting about relationships and roles and relationships. So, we've been talking about that a lot. So I'm just curious as to how other people think about that. If you marry or if you live in a home with a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you title it today, because I don't even know what the titles are today, because some relationships don't even have titles. And I'm getting off on another subject, but what role would you think, would you want that person to play? Would you want to have everything split down the middle? Do you feel like the man should take more of a lead and take care of the income and the household debt, bills, whatever you want to call it, and the woman take care of the home, the children, nurturing and making sure her husband had everything he needed? Or do you feel like, it depends on who makes the most money? What are your opinions on that? I'm really curious, but it's just, we got to figure this thing out, because it's too many relationships not lasting, and this is more toward my people, my black people. We got to do better as examples for our children, our young people coming up. We have too many relationships, well, I say homes where they're single parents. A lot of women parenting alone, but now I'm seeing a rise of men that are parenting, and the mothers are leaving. So what are your opinions on that, ladies and gentlemen, because this is concerning you guys too? So just leave your comments below, and I will be interested in knowing that, and we'll just talk about it. So I hope everybody's having a pleasant evening, and I will get with you guys later. Peace. I've been waiting on it forever. I'm not gonna even front. That makes it getting so much better.